Well guys, now that I recently got into some Milwaukee M12 tools, into their 12 volt tool system, formerly while I still have tons of Cobalt 24 volt, and I kind of like the smaller tool line of the Milwaukee because not all jobs require anything big and heavy, and sometimes you want to use something lighter. So I just recently bought this Milwaukee M12 Fuel Compact Cutoff Lithium-Ion Brushless Cordless Tool. It is their number 2522-20, which includes tool only, no batteries. Now the good thing about this is it takes all wheels that have a 3-inch diameter by 3/8 inch diameter arbor size. And also included, they have this adapter that you can use with obviously only 3-inch diameter wheels, but this has a 7/16 diameter arbor so that you can use this on like a Dremel. One of the Dremels would be the SM20 Sawmate. So that allows you that if there's a blade in the Dremel line that is 3-inch by 7/16 arbor size, all you do is switch out the bottom flange, which is 3/8, with this 7/16, and now you have the larger arbor size. So that's very cool and gives the tool more use other than just what you might find in the 3-inch or the 3/8 inch arbor size blades. Before we take a look at the tool, let's take a look at each of the 3 blades that you will receive with this tool. You will get a diamond tile blade, number 49-94-3010, used for cutting ceramic or porcelain tiles, either wet or dry. And I believe in the manual it says not to be more than 1/8 of an inch thick. But always check when you buy any blades, always make sure you use them within the capacity that they are engineered for. Never go beyond that. It could be very dangerous. You will get the metal cutoff wheel, number 49-94-3000. It is for cutting steel, non-ferrous materials, and stainless steel. The thickness of the blade is 0.040. You will get a carbide abrasive blade, number 49-94-3005. It is a cutting wheel for drywall, cement board, PVC, plastics. The carbide grit improves cutting performance and life of the blade. I'm going to give this a try on cutting some wood, by the way, too, and see how that works. Now, one thing that probably should be stated is I had looked at some reviews of this tool, and I got the impression that people thought you could use this, I don't know, for heavy-duty work, but you got to consider the size of any tool and what it's made for. This being a very small tool in size, I would definitely say it won't be good for heavy workloads. As with any tool, you just can't work it beyond its capabilities. So with that in mind, don't expect to buy this and cut through, 1/4 inch plate just because it's nice and small. It's just not going to happen. You do get an operator's manual. This is what Milwaukee is calling their dust shoe assembly. This part over here actually has a cap on it. It rotates 360, and you can leave that cap on should you want to just use it with the base. But if you want to use it for dust collection, cutting drywall, something, you can pull this cap off and you can actually attach your small shop vacs, 1.25 inch holes to that. This can also act as a control handle when you've got the tool in here. You can have one hand here and one hand on the tool to help control the tool. As can be seen here, it only has an adjustment in depth, up and down, not in, you cannot change the angle. It's strictly 90 degrees, all your cuts. And then you would just loosen this up. And you can raise and lower this for the depth of cut should you want to control that. On the top side of this dust shoe assembly, you see where it shows forward and reverse, because this, and I'll show you this, you can reverse this tool forward or back, and then this will show you what direction forward is and what direction reverse is. Here you'll see what it shows, an unlock button, and if we take a look on the inside, see that red tab? If we push here, watch that tab, that will unlock the tool so that the tool can be removed from this dust shoe assembly. Here we have the thickness of the base plate metal. Now before we put that dust shoe assembly on, I want to take a close-up look at the tool itself. We'll notice on the guard, it also has forward and reverse so that you can see which way that blade will be spinning. And I stated that you can actually change that. Right now, it's in the lock position, as you can see here. That button, it's in the lock position. If I push it to the left, it's in forward rotation. Push it all the way to the right, it's in reverse rotation. Then we just push it to the center and we have the lock position. Now it appears to have this screen material on it, which I'm going to say is probably for cooling. One thing you always want to do, when I'm done with my tools, I always use shop air and blow everything off. I would make sure I keep all these screens and stuff clean. Now you don't want to go up close on this and blow it off, it may damage it, but from a distance use shop air and blow everything off to keep the tool as clean as possible in infiltration of dirt. What you see here is an arbor lock. So what you would do, and these are left-hand threads. So in other words, normally if they were right-hand threads, you would take this and put it on the Allen wrench and turn it this way to tighten, turn it this way, remember righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, to loosen it. But in this case, you're going to push down on this and then just turn this till you feel it. Well, I'll go back. Right there, it went down. Now to loosen this, instead of going, what we got to do, since it's left-hand threads, we want to turn to the right. The right is actually going to take this bolt off that secures the blades. Here we have our top flange. Here we have the bottom flange. Remember, I stated that we have a 7/16. So this is the flange that you would change. This is set up right now for 3/8. If you wanted the 7/16, you would use this one. And you pull that out of there. And it's got flats on it, as it does on the arbor, so that way it can only go one way. And then your blade would go on there. So let's put a blade in. I'm going to be putting in this drywall fiber cement plastic blade, which I want to give a try on some wood, just to see how it cuts wood. Then we're going to put our top flange on. when you do that, you want to make sure that the flat side like this goes on. Then we're going to put our bolt on, and remember to tighten it now, we've got to turn it to the left. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to put our finger on the arbor lock. Oops, not doing what I just said. I'm so used to right hand threads. So we're turning it to the left, counterclockwise rotation. Right there, it locked in. Oops, again, I'm so used to the right hand threads. And counterclockwise, give it a nice snug, and that's locked in. Now I wanted to check the size of the supplied Allen wrench that you get, and I thought for sure it would be metric, but you know what? It actually takes a 3/16 Allen wrench. Very surprised. 3/16 if you ever need to replace it. Now I'm not sure how well this will show up, but here's the supplied Allen wrench. It's got a certain amount of play, and you go back and forth, right and left. And then if we take my Bondus, it is snugger. I actually like the Bondus better. Might be hard to see because the blade keeps moving a little bit, but the Bondus fits that bolt much better. Something else I want to show, if we take a look up here at the top, we'll see that metal tab, and then we'll see those little dimples in there. This shoe actually, it's all the way to the left as you can view it from this direction. Then if there's one, or there's a second one, third, and fourth. So it has those little click stops, so that way you can adjust this within the dust shoe assembly, the actual angle of the tool. So if I hold that, you can see how that would work. Next, I'm going to install this high output XC 5.0 5 amp battery into the tool. When we push in on the switch, we see that it has a light on the front end to aid in seeing your cutting surface. And over here, it has a state of charge of the battery. Those LEDs there. One thing that it's a little bit annoying, I wish my Cobalts, you can see the state of charge of the battery with the tool, with the battery out of the tool. With the Milwaukees, the only way to check it is when it's in the tool, and I wish there was a better way to check the state of charge without it being in the actual tool, because with my Cobalts I can push a button and I can see instantly whether it's 4, 3, 2, or 1. So that's the only gripe that I have about the state of charge indicator with the Milwaukee. Now that's in the forward. Then I'll go over here to the reverse. So reverse is going this direction, forward is going this direction. And the reason for that is, depending on what you're doing, how tight of an area you're working in, it may be easier to control the tool with it in one direction or the other. Where with a standard, say, air tool, a cutoff air tool, it only goes in one. You're limited because it goes in one rotational. You can't change the rotation. Here with this tool, being able to change the rotation, again, allows you to be whatever workspace you're working in. It allows you to direct any chips or any sparks in the direction you so choose, and also in the control of the tool, being able to control what direction that blade is spinning in. So I really like that. That is a plus. Alright, so now I want to actually attach the dust shoe assembly. So what I'm going to do, just for safety reasons, even though it's locked off, I'm going to pull the battery and we'll go ahead and attach it. So let's insert that tool into the dust shoe assembly. To do this, you'll need the unit all the way up, the highest point like you see here. If it's got a blade in excuse me, if it's got the blade in it, you'll need to make sure you come in at a kind of an angle so that way it can go in. Then just it's real simple here. See, it's loose right now, but if you push it all the way to the top and then rotate forward right there, it's now locked in. So now the only rotation you're getting is from what I showed you previously with those click stops. Right now it is locked in. To unlock this, you'd push this in, rotate down, and walk it out. So let's do that again. Push it in here, bring it up, just bring it up as far as you can, and then just bring the tool all the way up, rotate all the way up. And it's that simple, and it's locked in. Now here's another thing. You do not need to use this tool with the dust shoe assembly. You can pull that off and use the tool without it. Because now, right now, if we take a look, it's adjusted all the way down, and you're only going to get a minimum amount of cut. But for most things with this small tool, that's going to be fine. The only time you might have a concern is if you're using those carborundum cutoff wheels. And like this one, as it starts to get used up, I like to use as much as possible. As they get eaten up, then you may have to take the shoe off if you want to use every bit of it. But again, the tool does not need to be in this assembly. You can use it without it. Now I'm getting approximately 5/8 of an inch with this blade maximum cut. Just a little bit less, maybe about 9/16. And let's look at the angle on that. Again, it's nice to be able to have the tool adjust the actual angle depending on what you're working in, whether you want to hold it like this, that, or that. That is a nice feature. Alright, let's try this on some 3/4 inch PVC. Obviously the depth, I'm going to rotate it here because it will not cut through it, and so I'll have to rotate it like this. Now let's take a look at something. We've got forward going in this direction. So let's just use this piece that we cut off, and I want to take a look at. Let's take a look at. Now let's go in reverse, which means it's going to come this way into the work, pushing down this way instead of to the back of the shoe. So that allows you, again, depending on the work that you're doing, how you want that to push down into the work or away from it. Next, guys, I want to use the supplied wheel, the carborundum wheel, and we're going to try this in the forward position, meaning that the blade is going to be turning from in this direction. So I want to show you what's going to happen. With this kind of material, it's actually going to want to push away because it's a stronger material. The plastic, it didn't matter. With aluminum, it's going to offer more resistance. So let's see what happens here in the forward position. See, it wants to pull up. So now we're going to take in the reverse. We're going to go in reverse. We're going to make that, we're going to go ahead and cut again. So now what's going to happen is the blade is going this direction. The blade is going to be pushing the work to the shoe. And this is 1/4 inch by 1 inch aluminum. I don't know if you could hear me say this is 1/4 inch by 1 inch aluminum. Now obviously, guys, for best control, my material should have been in a vise, but I was just using it handheld. Alright, so getting back to the drywall plastic PVC cutting blade, I want to just see what it does on this piece of wood. This is just a little under the thickness. We'll take a look here. So it should easily cut through this, but I just want to see how this is going to cut with wood, because I do have a cobalt 4-inch tool that has that grid type blade, and it will cut wood. And again, I'm going to be doing the reverse because I want the blade to push the stock into the shoe. Now it actually burns its way through, but that's what the other blade does on my cobalt. So depending on what you're doing, that'd be fine. You know, if you're not doing any kind of finish work, there's no problem with that. If you're just doing general cutting to access something or whatever. So again, guys, remember, there is no one tool that can do it all. It's either going to be too big and too powerful for the job, or too small and not enough power. I'm into astronomy, and telescopes, they're all different. That's why I have so many different kinds, because depending what you want to do, you've got the focal length, you've got the field of view, you've got the aperture. Each one has a different use. And so this tool here, being nice and small, for small, lighter work, will be excellent.